of this video below. So obviously we said it's been a couple months since you've been here. I'm glad you had a good holiday. What is the number one thing that's different in today's world? Well, there's quite a few, but in your book, what are the biggest differences since the last time we spoke?
All right, you want to get a drink? We can talk for 3 hours. Actually, the theme is really that all the chips are being pushed in now to save the current fiat regime. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that the die is cast. That means even if President Trump would have remained president, the path that the Western democracies, in fact, even China, is on is one of just the grotesque amount of overspending that's being done to keep the masses, at bay, is going to cause inflation to just, I think this year is going to get out of control. I posted, I have obviously YouTube videos I put out there too, and I showed people last weekend, you're talking corn prices that have doubled, wheat prices up 16%.
Oh, wow.
The price of food is getting out of hand. In Brazil, it's up 16% year over year. China, 20% year over year. United States, over 5%. And what happens when you have stagnant economies and stagnant wages, food starts to become your primary item that you spend money on, and then basically there's no money for anything else in the economy, mm-hmm. and it gets people very, very twitchy. And so a history lesson, in 2011, we had the Arab Spring. That was caused by the last time the Fed pushed the chips in under Obama to kind of keep the economy goosed for the next election cycle, and it toppled 4 regimes in the Middle East because they were dollar-denominated currencies and they couldn't afford to import food. Well, we're going to go down that path again in spades, and you'll see Argentina go, you'll see Turkey go, you'll see Canada this time will go because the global solar minimum is shortening their growing season. So, now with the left firmly in charge, they're going to, especially in Canada, they can't grow enough food going into the solar minimum, and they're starting to screw around with their other export oil. And so you're going to start seeing some really big stresses in the economy. And then Treasury Yellen, I'm assuming she'll get approved. She just basically said, let's go big. Well, they're counting on the hoopla, but basically the frog will be boiled by this time, and it's going to be just a disaster.
So what is the main reason? I mean, is it just the fact that the growing seasons are shortening, or is it that there's too many people? I mean, I know that the United States over the last couple of years has had almost an overabundance of food. We've been exporting it to places like China and other places.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's not just the growing season. It's the fiat. People can't afford to import it. Mm. And so, we operate on very lean inventories in food. So it doesn't take more than 1 or 2 bad growing seasons around the world to cause dislocation. China is buying up all the food around the world. In fact, Argentina and Brazil had to put export controls on because it was causing food prices in their country to go up, because China was basically vacuum cleaning it up. Peru, the Galapagos Islands, they brought their long line fishing boats in there, just hoovered up all the fish in that area. Russia put export controls on their wheat because they're having a drought now in the Caspian region of their wheat growing area. So it doesn't take much to cause great dislocation. China's the big reason because, remember when the Three Gorges Dam was in trouble?
I was going to ask you, what's up with that? Yeah.
Yeah, that valley became nearly unable to grow food. And so that caused a great shortage of basically that's a rice and a corn growing region. And then they had avian swine flu hitting China right now. So they have a pig shortage. Mm. So remember, China is 1.4 billion people. It doesn't take much for them to suck the reserves out of the world. Wow. And so when that happens, you start seeing a levitation in the food prices, and you see it in the futures markets. All the grains are up. All what they call the softs are up. Coffee, cocoa, sugar. and then you have beef going up, you have pigs going up. And so, so it's a combination. Governments are overspending. The agricultural belts are fragile, and it's a recipe for a disaster.
Did you hear recently that Bill Gates is now like one of the largest farmland owners in the United States?
Yeah, so it's no accident. That's why you say you never listen to what these people say. I always say just watch what they do. Mm-hmm. So Gates owns 242,000 acres in the United States. Who knows how much they own in Africa and other places. And so they're making sure that there's prime growing, for themselves. And, they're not unhappy about this. Gates and Buffett and all those guys, they're big population control people. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed, the big theme coming out of the WEF, the World Economic Forum, is learn to love bugs, right?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Learn to go without meat. They know there's going to be a protein shortage. Okay, they cover everything under global warming, but they know there's going to be a protein shortage, and so they're trying to get people to accept things that I think are pretty intolerable, and that's why they won't tell you the truth, because that basically collapses a lot of the left's economic agenda. So it's a big deal, and people don't realize too, Brazil has a stranglehold on our beef production in this country, and China is deep in our pork production. And then, we have the oligarchs like Cargill that's big in our grain. So we have a lot of strangleholds, even though America has a lot of abundance. They could ship all that stuff overseas, Zach, and the American people could be, basically paying very high prices at the supermarket until it becomes politically intolerable.
It's a scary, scary proposition. Well, how about the crypto market? You said you guys have been killing it. I know that Bitcoin was at like $35,000 the last time I looked, and I'm kicking myself for not buying more of it earlier last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last time we talked, it was we were seeing if it was going to double top at the all-time highs, and it even exceeded our expectation. We thought, hey, it'll push through, may have some resistance there, maybe get up to 24,000 and pull back pretty decently, like cryptos do, and then make another launch later in 2021 to new highs. But the phenomenon that has changed is basically the institutional money now is coming in. You got Square, you got PayPal, you got this Grayscale ETF. We have another one coming out that came out last week. You have companies like MicroStrategy, Northern Trust. They're all getting in the game now. And there's not enough coins that are floating. A lot of it, is being hodled. And so the coins that are available to trade become very, very pricey. And that's how we blew all the way up to 42,000. The other thing is and I keep bringing up the World Economic Forum because they're the ones. Listen to those guys, because that's going to tell you your future. They're talking about great resets. They're talking about digital currencies, and people are starting to sit there and go, okay, we're going to wake up in the morning. Remember when Roosevelt changed the gold order, right? We may wake up in the morning and all your dollars are frozen until we can reprice them, basically to get rid of the debt. And so people say, well, I'm just going to get all fiat currencies. Well, there's only two places you can go, right? You go into gold or you go into crypto. Now, gold's great. I'm a gold bug. But crypto is flexible, meaning that, you can still fly it around all over the world in a moment's notice, where, you're lugging gold around is a little bit more complicated. So I think that's another reason why the cryptocurrencies took off. And, right now, they basically called for it to collapse after this. It's just consolidating again, and it'll more likely be a six-figure, price range here before the end of 2021. And not just Bitcoin. I mean, Link, Ethereum, Litecoin, they're all moving. And you get that ecosystem big enough, and I think they had record transactions too now in Bitcoin. So once it gets big enough where there's enough people that'll accept it, then it becomes a true competitor to the current fiat regimes out there. And then that should be another basically stranglehold on on what these central bankers are trying to accomplish.
So what coins do you like outside of Bitcoin and Ether? I mean, Litecoin is also on the rise, albeit it's a lot less than Ether, but it's basically at the spot Ethereum was at, about a year ago.
Yeah, so I've been dripping Litecoin now for the last year because my expectation is that it's going to get into a better balance with Bitcoin than it has. Bitcoin I don't trade, I own and put away. Mm-hmm. But Litecoin, I'm like, hey, this is stretched too far from Bitcoin. And I think what you're going to see is probably Litecoin will be the trading coin. Bitcoin will be the collateral kind of environment. Ethereum has its own special, properties that people use it for. And so I think Litecoin is where we're going to probably see a really nice burst in it. And, I'm planning on it to be north of $500 here. Oh, wow. I won't say the very near future because I don't want to set expectations, but yeah. I'm buying it every week until it gets to that price. So I'm pretty excited about it. And then just so people know when you're listening, you could hold the coins, which is fine. You could trade them. And what we've done is that our ribbon system allows you to look for those buying and selling, the supply zones and stuff like that, so you can effectively trade it. But we also follow trading cryptocurrencies inside the stock market too. So we follow Mara, we follow Grow, we follow Riot. I mean, we have one of our subscribers has made 900% on Riot in the last 14 months.
Wow.
So, and then GPTC, we have a GPTC what's called buying and selling pressure, because it operates at discounts and premium to the underlying. So we can help people know when it's a good value to buy GPTC against the spot price and when we think it's overvalued. So these are all tools that we do. So, you don't have to even open a cryptocurrency account and you still can be exposed, profitably to crypto. Not even Ethereum, like a Grayscale for Ethereum. I imagine Litecoin will be coming out as well. And the people are hungry for these things. And then, like I said, Square and PayPal, are allowing you to buy through their quote unquote banking systems. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really going to rocket.
All right. Man.